DIYautotech. Today we're working on one of these side-by-sides. This happens to be a 2019 Tracker XTR1000. We're going to be putting some PRP 4-point harnesses in this bad boy. So I'm going to show you here on the passenger side exactly how we go about doing this. This video will actually work as well if you happen to own a WildCat, since this is basically the same model as that. So stay tuned. We're going to start here by removing the old belts that were placed on this car. And although I didn't film the seat removal, there is going to be a clip showing where everything is mounted in the car so that it's super easy for you to do. But there was just nowhere to put the camera in this specific situation. And just to show you guys what holds the driver and passenger seat in, driver's side is held in by two 10mm bolts here. And one center, I believe it's a 15 or 16mm here as well. So, and that's accessed from under the car. Pretty easy to get that out. Those two bolts hold the driver's side down, and then you got this guy here. Passenger seat, you just got two 10mm up front and two dowels on the back that hold the seat in. Not the safest system I've ever seen. They should definitely incorporate some bolts onto the back of this thing, because as it stands, this thing's only bolted in on the front versus the driver's seat's bolted in with 3 points. So I'm not really stoked on that design, to be honest. Getting the belt out on the driver's side is pretty simple. You undo this little kick panel here on the side with a couple of T30 Torx heads. That gives you enough space to get the bolt out here for the seatbelt harness on one side, seatbelt harness on the other side, and then obviously you can clip in the old seatbelt here. It looks like they've done that previously. The owner here had taped on the old seatbelt to complete the system so that you can actually drive the car. We haven't unbolted the passenger side yet. We'll show you that one right now. All right, passenger side here, you can see it's already, or still bolted in. So it's bolted in way down here, so we're gonna have to get our wrenches in there. And passenger side as well, you can see it's bolted in down there. We'll have to get our wrenches in there as well. So it's a little tight, that's for sure, because we got the fuel tank sitting right here, which is no big deal. We'll get that all situated. All right, so passenger side presents more of a challenge because the battery's kind of right here in the way. So I kind of just had to take the fuel tank off, which is sitting here. There's a clamp that goes over the front. Then you've got your fuel connection point here, and then you have a circuit that clips to it. It's connected to the tank, and so once that's out, you can pull it all out. That gas tank was full, so it spilled a little bit, so we'll clean that up. But now, as you can see, it's easy to get to the bolt here, and now it'll be easy to get to the bolt there. Let me show you the fuel tank here. So it just makes it easier. You unclip, and then this little clip you can reach from the back to push it out, and then our connection point right here, and you pull off the filler neck, the goose neck, with the C-clamp there. So get this other one out and get them all back in. All right, now that I got them both bolted in down here, you want to make sure that the belt itself is straight, that there's no kinks in it, otherwise you have to do all this all over again. Got set up here, this one's loosely set up here, so we can get the fuel tank back in, making sure that we connect our hoses and that we connect our electrical connection here, and that we plug in the connector right here as well. Once the tank's back in, we'll also put the boot back on as well. So just to be clear, pulling the gas tank out is not necessary, but is going to make your life a lot easier to get those seatbelt harnesses out. Putting the tank back in itself is a bit challenging, especially if there's fuel in the tank, but I think this is the safer way to go and the easier way to go so that you can get some torque on those seatbelt mounting points. All right, tank is in, clipped in, our connector's clipped into the firewall. Our fuel tank supports are bolted down, as is the front, and we have our belt secured on both sides and torqued down as well. So now that we've reached this point, we can go ahead and put the passenger seat back in, bolt the passenger seat back up, and then we'll be able to put these into the cross members here, which support the belt. Seat going in is pretty straightforward. You just match up the dowel rods on the back and put the two bolts up front. I'm still sort of shocked that the seat is only held in by two bolts. It's kind of frustrating, and on a safety point of view, that's kind of scary. So I'm really glad we put in these 4-point harnesses to help secure that seat in place along with the rider. Now when installing the upper harness, you're either going to wrap it around the cross member like we're doing here, or if your vehicle is different, you might have a predetermined location where you can actually bolt the upper part of the harness to the vehicle. In either case, PRP does not give you a lot of extra material, if any at all, to make this adjustable. So if you're a big, heavy rider or someone who's really short, these belts are going to be maxed out in your car when you install them. Alright, I will admit that was a long and arduous job on this Tracker XTR1000, otherwise known as a WildCat 1000. Seat's got to come out. On the other side, fuel tank comes out to make life a little easier. One thing I did notice back here though is there is a quick disconnect, so I can pull this up. So I pull this guy right here up and the seat will actually come out. So I didn't actually need to unbolt anything. I did not know that off the bat, but that's why you watch videos. So now that you guys will know that. So obviously these are 4-point PRP harnesses here. You can see these are the 3-inch version with the classic racing connection. Hard to put in, that's for sure. And noting our buckles here, so you do go around a cross member, it doesn't bolt in. So this loops in once, goes around the cross member, loops through a second time, and then the third loop goes through again right here. So there's actually 3 loops of material here, and that keeps it from going anywhere. Okay, and you want to actually have 4 inches of strap material here, but the PRP, unfortunately, in this car, these wouldn't be long enough if I were to use 4 straps of material. So that would not actually work. I can't use 4. I can't actually have 4 inches sticking out there. So overall, nice product. These are really nice because they clamp like this, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to show you that here in the car in a second. Alright, so I'm going to undo this here. Now these are all brand new. You got to remove the plastic here. So these are the big 3-inch versions here. So you can see this is pretty intuitive to use. Big 3-inch straps. Going to keep you planted really nice. Keep your torso in place. They're pretty easy to adjust, especially these top straps are very easy to adjust. Very nice. I do wish this was had a little more material for females, especially females with larger breasts, because I could see this probably maxing out with someone like that. But in my case, this fits nice. With the driver's seat, for me, I would actually need to adjust this a little further back. But this seat is fully reclined, and the person who's going to be driving this is going to be shorter than me, so the seat's going to be further up. So this will be perfect for them. But overall, this is a nice piece of kit. I am like super planted in this seat, and in the case that I need to egress out of the car, it'd be easy because these cantilevers make it really easy to pull these up and out of the way like that. And I can get out in the case of a fire or a rollover. So it's really nice because you really don't need to adjust these lower ones, which are traditionally a lot harder to adjust than the top ones. Even in this car, these are brand new. They're still a little stiff, but these top ones are super easy to adjust. So they loosen really easily, they tighten really easily, and that's why everyone uses these. The PRPs are awesome for the price. The only downside is, like I said, I wish that they made the straps a little longer in back to give you that 4 inches of safety cushion. And for someone who's really short, so if the seat has to be really far up like this, you would really be maxing these out. So that's something to keep in mind. This has been another video from Anthony at DIYautotech. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.